right. Hello, all you past mountain runners. I'm Aaron Barber, your race director for this race and the rest of the Dirt Series over the winter. This is your race brief. We'll go over all the important things first, then we'll get into the courses a little bit at the end and some tips and tricks. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. I think the first and most important thing is that this park, Usery Mountain Regional Park, it's really tough to park your cars. It's limited space. We did a really good job last year. So if we could do that again, that would be great. The park was really happy with us, how we managed that and how y'all helped out with that as well. So the most important thing is the 10K does have to park at Zaharis Elementary. So this is the 10K only. So if you're in the 10K, park at Zaharis Elementary. It's really close to the start of the race. So just south on Ellsworth. But that'll be there'll be an email coming out today as well. Today being Wednesday, that'll have all this information in it. So 10K is going to park at Zaharis and get shuttled in. If you kind of want to see what it's going to be looking like, you can use both lots. Pickup is going to be down in this corner here. There will be a staff member at the parking lot to kind of assist. So all you need to worry about is showing up and parking and getting on the shuttle. The 10K doesn't start till 8:30. I believe I have the first shuttle running around 7, but that information will be in the race email. So 10K park at Zaharis. Everyone else can park inside the park, but we do have to follow instructions of the park. So this is kind of showing our little race area. So you enter the park from up here and drive down. This is the Blevins Loop. We will be using the Ramadas, the picnic area C and D, and that is going to be, I will have shuttles running from here all the way down to the start finish as well. So when you enter the park, we'll have people guiding you and the park will be helping, but you're just going to drive down to the Blevins Loop. Our start finish is in this area, the trailhead staging area down here. There'll probably be about 100 spots here. So if you're in the 50 mile, likely that you'll be able to park right at the start finish. 50K, probably. And then after that, it's going to be using these little satellite lots all the way around the loop. And then last year, they let us park on the side of the road as long as we're not encroaching on the desert. So just listen to the parking instructions from the workers and volunteers and our staff members, and you should be good to go. And then, like I said, we will have another shuttle if you park up at this remote parking to take you to the start finish. And they're just kind of going to be doing loops around. So even if you park over here and don't want to walk, just flag down the bus, get on the bus, and it's probably going to be going from the remote down here, up back here, and doing loops the whole way. The only thing we can't do is this is the Wind Cave trailhead area, so don't park in this little loop. The Usery Mountain Regional Park will be enforcing that as well, so make sure we try to avoid this area, but just follow the directions and we'll send you in the good way. So we do have packet pickup starting on Friday. That's going to be at Aravaipa, the headquarters. You can also still register for the race. So the race doesn't have a cap on it. Happy to have you out there. So if you missed the online registration, you can show up to packet pickup on Friday, or even better, just show up to the race on a Saturday morning. And we'll have packet pickup starting at 5:15, going through the 10K start at 8:30. Let's get down to drop bags. So this is relevant for the 50-mile runners and the 50K runners. If you have a drop bag, don't bring it to packet pickup at Aravaipa, or otherwise it won't make it to the race. Bring it race morning. So all drop bags race morning. There will be a pile to go to Usery. Let's see here. So you 50-mile runners, get it at Usery starting at mile 27. You hit that aid station twice. So 27 and 43 are your drop bag locations. We'll have a spot on race morning to put your Usery drop bags, and then we'll take them out to that aid station to meet you there. And then 50K or 50 milers, you're welcome to have a bag at the start finish as well. You don't come through the start finish, but if you need like warm clothes in the morning that are waiting for you at the end, we'll have a safe space for those. And then 50K, you do 2 25K loops, so you have the option to put a drop bag at the start finish. That's halfway through, so right at the 25K mark, you can grab your drop bag if you need anything out of that. 50 milers, you've got some cutoffs to hit. They're all very reasonable. But the first one is going to be at the first usury aid station. So I'll get into the courses right after this. But we got to make sure you, like, if you're not there by 2:30, hitting it the first time, you have a big loop in the Hawes Trail system, and we'll have to stop you from doing that Hawes loop if you're not there by 2:30. On the flip side, if you make it before 2:30 and get to start the Hawes loop, you have till 7 p.m. to get to that usury aid station, and then 10 p.m. to finish the race. And then it is starting at 6 a.m. Just double check. Yeah, 6 a.m. So 50 milers, you will need your headlamps for the first 30 minutes or so of the race. Not too much. I believe dawn is around 6:25. So when you can first start seeing light, and then actual sunrise is at 6:55. But let's get into the courses. We'll start with the long ones first. So this is going to be the 50-mile course. This is a new 50-mile course this year. It's similar to past years, but we were able to make some, what I think, very positive changes. You're going to do a whole loop in the park. So first part's going to be really fast. So we're going to head south on Noso, and this is the same as everyone else. This is really nice, runnable trail until you get onto the levee. The levee is flat and fast, and if you zoom in here, we do make you go off the levee to hit that first aid station. Even if you don't need aid, you can't just skip across here. It's going to be coned off. There will be signs to get you off the levee, hit the aid station, because even if you don't need aid, there's a timing point there. And then little climb back onto the levee to continue your loop around the park. That'll be your first aid station at mile 4-ish, 3.8. Second aid station is going to be Meridian. This is a really fast section as well. A little bit more chunky, but still very runnable. And this is just a very gradual little climb up to Meridian aid. You can barely feel it. And Meridian's around mile 7. Hit that aid, go up and over Cat Peaks. It's just a little tiny bump here. It's kind of steep in just one section. This part right here is pretty important. After Cat Peaks, there will be a critical turn. So you'll climb up Cat Peaks. Here's like the saddle, roughly in this area. And then this is all downhill right here. Everyone will take a right-hand turn, but then there's a split right here. So it'll be a critical turn. 50K or 50 mile 50K, 25K are going to go up this way. 10K, 5K are going to go straight. So there'll be two arrows going in different directions. Really got to pay attention to that one. Had some people go off course last year. We'll mark the crap out of it, but there's always one or two. Don't let that be you. After the critical junction, you'll link up with the Pass Mountain Trail. And now you're going to be outside of the actual regional park. In this section right here, you'll be in the Tonto National Forest. Here's your other critical junction. 25K and 50K are going to go north. This will be your turn trip. You're going to deviate the Pass Mountain or off the Pass Mountain loop and go to brand new trail. So this is where we hit new stuff. So 50 milers, now you're on your own course. You're not going to follow anyone else's signage. But this is a gorgeous section. And this is the new section that we added this year. But it's great views. It's nice and it's rolly. There's a couple, I wouldn't call them big climbs, but you're definitely going uphill for a few minutes in these two little areas right here. And alternatively, last year we had you down on like canal paths, sticking more in like near communities and power lines, and it just wasn't as scenic. This is really scenic, runnable, single track. Then you hit Prospector Aid around mile 14, 14, 15, and then it gets really pretty. And I did a scouting run out there in August, but right after the Prospector Aid, you'll be looking at sites like this near the Goldfield Mountains. There's little punchy climbs in there, trails in good shape, and then a lot of it you're actually on like OHV road 2-track type stuff. Make sure to look behind you because you got a really good view of the Superstitions and Flatiron if you turn around and look behind you. So this is your course in the miles right after Prospector Aid. And that's kind of what it's going to look like a lot. Cool rock formations, nice, smooth, runnable track. This is looking forward on the course. Beautiful area. This is looking backwards. You get a great view of the Supes. I had a rainbow my day that I ran it. Maybe you'll get as lucky. But yeah, it's a pretty great section. This is looking backwards on the course, so you're gonna come from over here and run this. But yeah, look behind you, see the superstitions. And that's all for pictures. So continuing on the 50-mile course, kind of rolly until you get to the miles approaching Bulldog Canyon. This is really pretty in here. After Bulldog Aid, no drop bags or anything like that. You got a lot of sand. I'm gonna just warn you right now. There's a big, long, sandy stretch pretty much all the way to Usury. It's deep and it's beachy. It's really scenic around there, but it is what it is. You're kind of hopping the trail in this whole section. The trail kind of follows a wash in some spots. Sometimes you're in the wash, sometimes you're not. But a lot of sand. This is your sandy stretch. But if you can get through this part, you don't have to do it again, and that's the end of the really sandy area on the course until you hit Usury Aid. You'll be hitting this twice. This is your first time to get a drop bag. Then you'll make your way across Ellsworth. This is a really busy road right here. We're going to have people managing the road, volunteers, but they're not going to be stopping traffic. They'll be stopping runners. So you might have to stop for 10 seconds max, but just listen to the volunteers. Don't go sprinting across the road until they tell you to cross. Once you get across Ellsworth, you'll do one big loop inside the Hawes Trail system. And this is a pretty good climb, right? When you get into Hawes, you're going up, I think it's called Alpe d'Huez. So right around here, it's smooth and it's fairly gradual, but it's a pretty good climb. But once you get up to the top on this ridgeline, it is gorgeous. You can see down to the Salt River Valley, and then you'll make your way down to Hawes Aid. Hawes Aid is where you can first pick up a pacer. So if you have anyone that wants to drive out to Hawes Aid to pace you for the rest of your run, mile, I think it's around 50K in, 34, 35. So the last 15 miles, you can have a pacer come in. They can also join you at Usury Aid. Crews are allowed at both Usury and Hawes as well. So this far lollipop, you can have crews. Both of these, this section, the trail is called Bush Light. It's really flat and easy and smooth. So little recovery miles here. And then you start a gradual climb. You don't really feel it back to Usury Aid. You won't be climbing till about right in this section. And it's kind of, you won't feel that you're climbing until probably this section. Then you jump back on the Pass Mountain Trail and finish on the Pass Mountain Loop and then right back to the finish. So came out to exactly 50 miles, and we're looking at about 5,500 feet of vert, with most of it coming in that Hawes area, and then probably your way out to Prospector Aid. And then this at the end, it is a climb, but it's really gradual for the first part of it. Then you get an aid station in the middle and climb the rest of the way to the Pass Mountain Saddle, and it's all downhill from there. So that's your 50-mile course. We did pacers, so you have drop bags at Usury that you hit twice. Crews can go to Usury and Hawes, and pacers can be at Hawes and Usury too. So if you have a pacer when the first time through at Usury, nope, can't do that. So no pacers in this section, so pacers from here all the way in. And now the 50K, I'm going to talk about the 50K and the 25K in one fell swoop because it's the same course. 50K runners just do it twice. So same start as the 50 mile, where we're going to be running around the park. You can see on the profile how flat it is, nice and runnable and smooth. Same thing on the levee. We'll make you jump off the levee and go down to the aid station / timing point. Same thing, we get a little bit of a kind of a grindy climb right here, a little chunky, but nothing crazy, up and over Cat Peaks. And then same thing with 50K and 25K. You're going to be descending Cat Peaks and then taking a right. And then this is a critical split right here because 10K and 5K are going to go towards the finish this way. 25K, 50K, 50 mile are going to go north. So make sure we keep our eyes out at that junction. We'll have it all marked as clear as we can for you. Jump up, leaving the regional park and into Tonto National Forest. It gets a little bit chunky in this section. and then you'll start the climb up Pass Mountain to the saddle. So the climb starts gradual, a little bit rocky, but gradual, and then you don't really get steep until you're right at the top, which is right in this area. Little bit of exposure, not too much. It's really pretty, but there's some like that yellow uh, stone that you find out in like the gold fields and the superstitions that you're going to be up on top of. And then once you hit the saddle, it really opens up. You can look north and you can see the whole Salt River Valley. And then this section is just screaming fast. It's gentle downhill, and it kind of zigs and zags a little bit all the way to the finish. So you're going to be coming down here. I will say that this trailhead right here is very deceptive. It looks similar to like the area that the race starts and finishes out of. So if you're like in this section and you start to see ramadas, you think you're going to be finishing right here, but it's like almost another 3/4 of a mile. So don't start your kick up here. Make sure you're kicking into the right area. And then straight down to our start finish area, there's one last wash right here. And then we finish at the start finish. 50K runners, you'll have a chance to get a drop bag at an aid station right here. And then you do the same exact thing again. There's no washing machine style. It's the same exact course one more time for the 50K. Then we'll go to the 10K. You're going to be completely within the park for the 10K. Back to the 50K one and 25K 1 second. Your last aid station is Meridian Aid, which is going to be about mile 7. And it's a 15.5-mile loop. So the last 8.5 miles up and over Pass Mountain, there's no aid this whole stretch. So you have Levee at mile 4. Maybe you'll stop and grab aid there, maybe not. But Meridian's kind of your last stop for water if you need to fill anything up. The weather's looking great, so it shouldn't be super hot. We're all going to be starting in the 40s and 50s, and depending on the distance you're doing, the high is only 74, low 70s for Saturday. So it's looking really nice. Back to the 10K, same start as everyone else, south on Noso, same loop as the 50-mile and 50K and 25K runners. Hop onto the levee, go down to the levee aid station. You will have a little bit separate course. There will be a critical turn right around here where the 50-mile and 50K runners are going to come down this way, and 5K, 10K are going to go straight north. So you won't get that Meridian aid station like the other distances. You'll just have the one levee aid at about mile 3.84. Rejoin the course with everyone else, hit Cat Peaks, come down, and this is where things, I wouldn't call it tricky, but just be paying attention. Take that right, and then there'll be a critical split, and you're going to want to stick to the left, but just follow the signs that say 10K, and you're going to scream on in right to the start, or to the finish area. One loop, counterclockwise. 5K runners, you have a little bit different course. Obviously, it's shorter, but right from the get-go, you're going to start. This is a downhill stretch right here for about a half mile. Every other distance is going to go, they're going to turn right. 5K is going to go straight. So make sure we're just going to go straight. This will be in the email. I'll obviously mention it before the race too. And you're going to go straight down to the levee. Same thing, hop on the levee. And yes, 5Ks have to hit this aid as well. Even if you don't need the aid, we need you to go over the timing mat. And then same thing as the 10K here. 25, 50, and 50 milers will turn to the right. 10K, 5K, go straight up, hit Cat Peaks, same thing. Make sure we're looking at signs to take a right and then bear left at this split. This is a really critical junction because if you start going north, you might end up on the 25K course and going significantly longer than a 5K. So those are your courses. We hit cutoffs already. The 50K also has a cutoff. Overall race cutoff at 10 p.m., but the one that you're going to be looking for is going to be the intermediate cutoff for loop 1. And let me see if I can pull that up. I think it's 1 p.m. to do the first loop. I don't want to speak wrong. That's not working. Yeah, 1 p.m. for the first loop of the 50K. So that is pretty much all we have for you today. Just make sure if you're in the 10K, you're parking offsite at Zaharis Elementary. Um, and then everyone else, just make sure we're in the park and following directions on where to park and where not to park. We have the race starts pretty spread out, more than usual. So parking in the line wasn't too much of an issue last year. Plan there being a line to enter the park. There is a $7 fee to enter the Maricopa County parks. So bringing exact change speeds up the process. So to have that $7 in cash handy. And yeah, that's all we got. Should be great weather. We're ready for you. So come on out, enjoy Pass Mountain and Punisher night trails in the afternoon. But I hope you enjoyed your race brief, and we will see you this weekend.